And I love the words, nothing's going to change my world, right? Everything can change around us, but once we know who and what we are, nothing's going to change our world. That's powerful words, and right in alignment with what we're talking about today. Here we are, the last day of 2017, celebrating that together. It's normal for us to, on the last day of the year, to look back, to reflect on what was in the year, you know, all those precious moments. And as I started to write this talk, it made me reflect over the last 2 years that we've been together, because I know in 2018 I'm not going to be here with you for much. So there's that bittersweetness to it, you know. So if I get emotional in this talk, you'll know why, and I'm here to model that all the emotions are acceptable, are they not? Yeah. But what I did when I was reflecting is that I realized there's been a common theme, and the theme has been about replacing the false self and embracing your truth. That's really been my theme throughout the couple of years. And I realized that I've asked questions of you throughout the 2 years. Who are you? And we looked at systems. Are you the work system, the role that you play in the work system? We looked at family systems. Are you the role of mother, father, brother, sister, firstborn child, middle child, youngest child, right? We looked at those. I asked you questions of why are you incarnated right here, right now, in this moment? I've asked you questions about how do you create a world that works for all sentient beings? I've asked you to challenge your belief system. Are they really your beliefs or someone else's belief system that you've incorporated as your own without really evaluating what is true for you today? And so throughout all of those times, there's just been question after question after question. And today, here is your answer. I am a miracle. You are the miracle. So I'm going to invite you just to say that title to us, to yourselves, of your truth. Together, I am the miracle. I'm sorry, that just didn't sound like it was true. You know? Let's try that again. Together, I am the miracle. Oh, that sounded so much better. Like you actually might believe that. Throughout the couple of years, we've talked about lots of different tools that you can use to actualize your truth, divine human being. And for the Christmas season, I've used this book by Don Miguel Ruiz, which is The 4 Agreements, as the latest tool that I'm bringing for your arsenal. And I've loved doing this work. The first time that I read it, it was like, oh, okay, these are all unity principles, I get it. No biggie. And then, you know, you read it again. And you're like, oh, I get this now. I get it at a deeper level. And I hope that I was able to share that with you on our journey together. What I did want to read to start off with is why I chose this particular book to use. Don Miguel writes, there is no reason to suffer. With awareness, you can rebel and say, this is enough. You can look for a way to heal and transform your personal dream. The dream of the planet is just a dream. It is not even real. If you go into the dream and start challenging your beliefs, you will find that most of the beliefs that guided you into the wounded mind are not even true. You will find that you suffered all those years of drama for nothing. Why? Because the belief system that was put inside your mind is based on lies. What? Yes. Once your minds have been programmed with all that garbage, we are no longer happy. This chain of training from human to human, from generation to generation, is perfectly normal in human society. Hear that. It's perfectly normal in human society. You don't need to blame your parents for teaching you to be like them. What? Reverend Sherrie, could you read that again? Absolutely. You don't need to blame your parents for teaching you to be like them. What else could they teach you but what they know? They did the best they could, and if they abused you, it was due to their own domestication, their own fears, their own beliefs. They had no control over the programming they received, so they couldn't have behaved any differently. There is no need to blame your parents or anyone who abused you in your life, including yourself. But it is time to stop the abuse. It is time to free yourself from the tyranny of that internal judge by changing the foundation of your own agreements. It is time to be free from the role of the victim. Can you see why I would choose this for us to use for this holiday season? It's powerful. So what I'd like to do is just review a little bit of what we've done so far. We started 4 weeks ago, and Sharon kicked us off with be impeccable with your word. And we talk about speaking with integrity. Say only what you mean. For me, the crux is that I don't say anything that goes against myself. Let my yes be yes and my no's be no. And here's another little caveat. This is not to be used to abuse yourself, because we have been trained as human beings with reward and punishment, have we not? If you do something good, you get some rewards. If you do something not so good, you get punished. So here, as we are in the process of shifting our agreements, this is not to be used as a whip against yourself if your words happen to not be in integrity. It's an opportunity for you to do your best in that. It's an opportunity for you to be in self-awareness of, I could have used a different wording on that one, or, oh, there's my fear kicking up in what I said. And then I can either make amends or I can adjust. In unity, we tend to beat the crap out of ourselves if we don't say things in what we call unity speak. That is abuse. Did you hear me? Okay? So when we talk about this is about doing your best. Second thing was, don't take anything personally, right? What anyone says to you, about you, one, it's not your business. Second, it's coming from their belief system. So if you take it personally, what that means is you have now gone into agreement with their belief system. You're living their dream. You're living their dream. So that's why we talk about not taking it personally, not from a perspective of, oh, you're so sensitive, don't take it personally. No, on a deeper level. Understanding that they are coming from their own worldview, their own filter system, their own opinions being shoved into them, possibly without even assessing whether that's true for them or not. And does that mean that you're going to be perfect in that all the time? No, because we're human beings, right? So once again, it's about doing your best with agreement too. And then last week we talked about don't make assumptions, right? To find the courage to ask questions, to go into discernment. We talked about when we make assumptions, we come to the place of bringing our filters, our worldview, our beliefs, in a relationship with others, expecting that they're going to just be like us, that they're going to respond just like we would respond. They're going to think just like we would think. They're going to say just the right words like we would say. Not so much, right? And then we get all bent out of shape, don't we? Everyone knows that you should have said blah when this happened. Well, no, not everyone should know. That's your worldview. Graham and I have been together, 14, 15 years now? Lordy, I don't know what's going on in that man's head half the time, right? So for me, it's about getting discernment, asking those questions. When I see the face that happens and the changes, you know how we do. We read each other, right? And then we make up the story. That must mean he's really upset with me. What did I do? I don't think I did it. Well, maybe he took that whole right? And I'm all spiraled off someplace, and he's just like, nothing about me. Wow. Freedom, my friends. And in this, once again, we're talking about doing our best. Am I going to jump to assumptions with him sometimes? Absolutely. Why? I'm a human being. Will you jump to assumptions with your partners? Absolutely, because you're a human being. But once again, this isn't about beating yourself up. This is about you doing the best that you can in that moment. And so today we're going to talk about the fourth one, which is always do your best. Always do your best is about being aware that you are here in this moment. And doing your best is going to look different from day to day. Doing your best is not from that Western puritanical theology. Yeah, I called it theology. Where your best has to be better than your best was yesterday or your best was last week. No, it's about doing the best that you can today with the awareness of how much sleep I had last night, what my emotional level is today. Am I grieving? Am I in happiness? Where am I energetically? And from that, being the best that I can be in that moment. You with me? Okay. So our bests are going to be fluctuating because we are living, breathing, fluctuating beings. So it's going to look a lot different from day to day. The other thing it says here is don't overdo. No more, no less. Don't overdo. When we overdo, what we're doing is we're going against ourselves. We are depleting our bodies. We are depleting our energy when we overdo. And when we overdo, the goals that it takes us to achieve certain things become harder and more difficult to do. Conversely, don't do less. Always do your best. Because if you are slacking and not doing your best that day, that's where those feelings of regrets and guilt and shame and blame generate from. So I'm going to give you an example because sometimes the theories of the words just don't make it. Don Miguel does a wonderful story about someone who is looking to ascend his suffering, and he goes to the Buddhist temple to find a master to help him. And he says to the master, if I meditate 4 hours a day, how long will it take me to transcend? The master looked at him and said, if you meditate 4 hours a day, perhaps you will transcend in 10 years. Thinking he could do better, the man then said, oh, master, what if I meditate 8 hours a day? How long will it take me to transcend? The master looked at him and said, if you meditate 8 hours a day, perhaps you will transcend in 20 years. But why will it take me longer if I meditate more? The master replied, you are not here to sacrifice your joy or your life. You are here to live, to be happy, and to love. If you can do your best in 2 hours of meditation, but you spend 8 hours instead, you'll only grow tired, miss the point, and you won't enjoy your life. Do your best, and perhaps you will learn that no matter how long you meditate, you can live, love, and be happy. I like that. One area that we don't do very well in unity is the action part. We do a lot of theory, we go in our head, we think about it, then we kind of drop down a little bit and we do a little bit of that inner work and going into the silence, and then we kind of just stop there. How we manifest is by taking action. When I say we are God expressing as us, I'm not saying we're God just sitting there just kind of thinking about it, do I? No, it's an activation. It's an activation. We are the miracle. And this is just a representation of Jesus' first miracle. What did he do? Water to wine, right? Everyone knows that's considered his first miracle, water to wine. And you may be thinking, wow, that was Jesus. Of course, but I can't do that. Well, who said that you are to be Jesus? There is only one Jesus, as there is only one you. You are here to be your best you. So, of course, your miracle is not to change water into wine. For me, my first miracle, I walked across fire. That's right. I walked across fire. I bent the laws of physical nature without being harmed. Wow. I'm a miracle. I'm a manifester. So what's your miracle? Stop trying to be like someone else. You are spectacular in your own being, in your own right. Step into that. Step into your miracle. No one else can do it but you. So why do we do this work? Because there's some benefits to it. If we're always doing our best, then we don't have time to take the judge out and beat ourselves on the back of the head with it, do we? Because we know in that given moment, we have done our best. So no guilt, no blame. We also realize that if we are doing our best, then we don't have to sacrifice. We have a right to live. We have a right to be happy. We have a right to love and be loved. And here's a biggie. If we are taking the actions that come from us, from our joy, from our wanting to do, then we don't have to worry about other people's expectations. If we are doing something because we're supposed to do it, or we have to do it, we will never do our best in that moment because we're living somebody else's dream. Do you understand that? Okay. No regrets. Self-acceptance. That we have really stepped into our truth. I'm a divine human being the miracle. So who are you? No, not rhetorical.
I am miracle.
Thank you. Let's say that together. I am the miracle. One more time. I am the miracle. And we seal it in our DNA, in our cells, in our bones, in our everyness, as we say it for the third and final time. I am the miracle. Thank you. Lana?